In a distant corner of the galaxy, a small human colony on the planet Varanth faced an unimaginable threat. Commander Ilara Quinn stood on the command deck of the UNSA, United Nations Space Alliance, ship Phoenix, her heart racing as she watched the holographic display flicker with alarming data. The PID, Pack of Inhuman Demons, a ruthless alien race known for their brutal conquests, had set their sights on Earth. Reports streamed in about their latest assault, and a chilling message had been intercepted: evacuate immediately or face annihilation. Ilara knew they had limited time. The PID had advanced technology that outclassed most human defenses, but their arrogance often left them vulnerable to human creativity and resolve. We need to alert the Galactic Council and gather all available forces, she commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos swirling around her. Her trusted lieutenant, Marcus Reyes, nodded, his expression serious. We need a plan, Ilara. The PID won't take our warning lightly. As Ilara activated the comms to contact the Council, she thought of the millions of lives at stake. The Galactic Council was their last hope. The PID believed they could destroy humanity without consequence, but they had underestimated the spirit of Earth. The transmission crackled to life, and the image of Chancellor Thor, an imposing figure with bright blue skin and golden eyes, appeared before Ilara. Commander Quinn, what is the urgency of your message? Ilara took a deep breath. Chancellor Thor, the PID are launching an attack on Earth. We have intercepted a message indicating they plan to eradicate our colonies. We must rally the Council's forces to defend against this threat. Thor's expression shifted from curiosity to alarm. If what you say is true, we cannot delay. The Council must convene immediately. He raised his hand, and within moments, representatives from various species filled the screen. Ilara felt a sense of hope. Together, they could form a united front. As they discussed strategies, Ilara outlined a bold plan. We need to deploy our fleets to key locations across the galaxy, creating a defensive perimeter around Earth. Meanwhile, we'll gather intelligence on the PID's next move. The Council agreed, recognizing the urgency of the situation. As they finalized their plans, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much larger conflict. On the other side of the galaxy, the PID Emperor, Zarnok, was furious. His dark chambers echoed with the sounds of his advisors whispering among themselves. Humans dare to challenge us, he growled, slamming a fist on the table. The PID were not known for their mercy, and he was determined to show the humans the futility of their resistance. He ordered a full-scale assault on Varanth to send a message to the Galactic Council. Prepare the fleet. We will crush this rebellion swiftly and make an example of them. As the PID warships surged through space, Commander Ilara and her crew braced for impact. The Phoenix shook as enemy ships surrounded them, weapons charging. All hands, battle stations. Ilara shouted, adrenaline coursing through her veins. With a steady hand, she maneuvered the ship, dodging incoming fire. They fought valiantly, using every trick in the book. Ilara's heart swelled with pride as she witnessed her crew's resilience and ingenuity. They managed to hold off the initial wave, but the PID were relentless. As the battle raged on, a breakthrough came when Lieutenant Race spotted a weakness in the PID formation. If we can take out their command ship, we can disrupt their entire fleet, he suggested. Ilara nodded, determination in her eyes. Then let's do it. We'll launch a sneak attack. Assemble a strike team. We'll hit them hard and fast. With a small crew of the bravest soldiers, they boarded a stealth shuttle and approached the enemy command ship. As they infiltrated, Ilara felt the weight of their mission. They had to succeed, not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. In the heart of the ship, they faced heavy resistance, but their training kicked in. Ilara's team moved with precision, taking down guards and navigating the dark corridors. Finally, they reached the control room, where they encountered the PID commander, Zarnok's second in command. In a fierce showdown, they fought for their lives. Ilara's heart raced as she disarmed the commander, delivering a decisive blow. With a triumphant shout, She initiated the self-destruct sequence, racing back to the shuttle just in time to escape the explosion. As the command ship exploded, a wave of hope washed over the crew of the Phoenix. The PID fleet began to falter, confusion rippling through their ranks. Ilara wasted no time. Now is our chance. All ships, converge on the PID fleet. Let's finish this. The tide of the battle turned, and Ilara's tactics were proving effective. They pushed the PID back, reclaiming their territory and dealing heavy blows to their forces. But deep down, Ilara knew this was just a temporary victory. After the battle, the Galactic Council convened again, recognizing the strength of humanity and their allies. They discussed forming a united defense force, combining their technologies and strengths. Ilara felt a sense of pride swell in her chest. Humanity had shown its resilience, but now they needed to prepare for what was to come. Days turned into weeks as the Galactic Council united their fleets, transforming their disparate forces into a formidable alliance. Commander Ilara Quinn worked tirelessly, coordinating training exercises and resource allocations, her mind a whirl of strategy and logistics. Each day brought new challenges, but she was determined to inspire hope in her people. She frequently reminded her crew that their unity was their greatest strength. On the day of the final confrontation, Ilara stood on the command deck of the Phoenix looking out at the diverse array of ships gathered to fight alongside them. Each vessel, from sleek human cruisers to robust alien warships, gleamed under the distant starlight. She felt a deep sense of camaraderie among the different species united against a common enemy. This was not just a fight for survival. It was a battle for the very essence of freedom. Ilara glanced at her trusted lieutenant, Marcus Reyes, who was busy checking the fleet's status. "How are our allies holding up?" she asked, her tone laced with concern. "Morale is high, Commander," Marcus replied, his brow furrowed with concentration. "The Zarkonians and the Rillans have sent their best fighters. Everyone is eager to contribute." "Good. We need that spirit today," Ilara said, her voice firm. She turned to the view screen displaying their tactical map of the PID territory, a chaotic tangle of stars, and marked enemy positions. "We'll approach from the south, using the asteroid belt as cover. Then we engage." As they entered the PID territory, the atmosphere thickened with tension. The once vibrant stars seemed dulled, overshadowed by the looming threat of the PID fleet. Ilara's pulse quickened, adrenaline coursing through her veins as she ordered the fleet to form a defensive formation. "Today, we show them that we will not be intimidated. Together, we will reclaim our future." With their battle cry echoing through the void, the united fleet surged forward. The PID were taken aback by the sheer number of ships and the determination of their crews. It was a sight to behold, a testament to human ingenuity and the strength found in unity. Ilara felt a surge of pride. They were no longer just humans defending their home, but representatives of an alliance forged in the fires of conflict. As they moved closer, PID ships began to emerge from the shadows, their dark silhouettes menacing against the backdrop of space. Ilara could see the enemy warships glistening ominously, ready to unleash chaos. "Steady, everyone," she commanded. "Remember your training. We've prepared for this moment." Suddenly, the comms buzzed to life with the voice of Admiral Tekar, a towering figure from the Zarkonian fleet. "Commander Quinn, we are ready on your mark. All ships, engage," Ilara shouted, her voice booming with authority. The fleet erupted into action, the sounds of engines roaring and weapons charging filling the air. Bright beams of energy lanced out from the Phoenix tearing through the void towards the nearest PID ship. Explosions erupted in a beautiful but deadly display, illuminating the dark expanse. Ilara's heart raced as the battle unfolded. She maneuvered the Phoenix with precision, dodging incoming fire, while coordinating the attacks of her allies. "Target their engines first. Disable their ability to retreat," she ordered, watching as her crew executed their strategies flawlessly. The PID ships, caught off guard, began to falter under the united assault. Yet the PID quickly adapted. Their command ship issued orders, and the remaining forces retaliated fiercely. Ilara saw a massive PID warship turning towards them, its weapons charging ominously. "Brace for impact," she shouted, gripping the controls tightly as the ship shook under the barrage. "Shields at 60%, Marcus called out, his voice tense. "We need to hold them off. Focus fire on that warship," Ilara commanded, sweat beading on her forehead. With a steely determination, her crew unleashed a torrent of firepower, coordinating their attacks with flawless timing. The PID warship erupted in flames, a chaotic explosion that sent debris spiraling into space. Ilara's heart swelled with hope as she watched the tide of battle begin to shift. But she knew they could not relent. The PID were relentless, and this was only the beginning. In the midst of the chaos, Ilara noticed movement on the tactical display. A squadron of PID fighters was breaking away, headed straight for the Phoenix *. "Incoming fighters. Defensive positions," she shouted. The crew sprang into action, engaging the enemy with fierce resolve. Ilara's fingers danced over the controls as she targeted the nearest fighter, her heart pounding in her chest. She pulled the trigger, watching as her shot found its mark, and the fighter exploded in a burst of light. "Great shooting, Commander," Marcus shouted, his voice filled with excitement. But the battle was far from over. More PID fighters poured in, determined to overwhelm the human defenses. "Keep pushing. We need to break their formation," Ilara shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. The Phoenix * danced through space, avoiding incoming fire while delivering devastating strikes on the PID fighters. The unity of their combined forces began to turn the tide. As the battle wore on, Ilara glanced at the view screen, where the PID flagship loomed ahead. This was the moment they had prepared for. "All ships, focus fire on that flagship." "We end this now," she ordered, her voice steady. The combined might of the fleet rallied, their weapons trained on the PID flagship. Bright beams of energy surged forward, striking the massive vessel with relentless precision. The PID forces began to falter, confusion rippling through their ranks as their flagship took damage. Ilara's heart raced as she watched the PID flagship's shields flicker, then collapse under the weight of their assault. "Yes, keep it up," she cheered, feeling a wave of hope wash over her. The tide of battle had turned. They were reclaiming their future, one strike at a time. As the flagship began to crumble under the relentless onslaught, the PID forces started to retreat, their once menacing fleet now a panicked swarm. "They're breaking," Marcus shouted, disbelief in his voice. "We did it." But Ilara knew that victory was not guaranteed until the last enemy ship had fled. "Stay focused. Don't let your guard down," she urged, rallying her crew to keep fighting. With each passing moment, the PID flagship was battered and weakened. Finally, in a blinding flash, it exploded, sending a shockwave through space. The remaining PID forces scattered, retreating into the depths of the galaxy, their morale shattered. Ilara felt a rush of triumph as cheers erupted on the command deck. They had done the impossible. They had united against a common enemy and emerged victorious. As the crew celebrated, Ilara took a moment to reflect. This battle was just one of many in the fight for humanity's survival. But for now, they had shown the galaxy what they were capable of. Together, they had turned the tide, proving that unity, courage, and resilience could conquer even the greatest of threats. The future was uncertain, but with allies at their side, humanity was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle raged fiercely, each explosion lighting up the dark canvas of space like distant stars being snuffed out. Commander Ilara Quinn gripped the controls of the Phoenix with resolve, her eyes scanning the chaotic scene unfolding outside. The PID ships, once a looming threat, were now faltering under the relentless assault of the United Fleet. Ilara felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, knowing that every decision she made could determine the fate of countless lives. "Reinforce the starboard side," she shouted, her voice steady despite the turmoil around her. "We need to protect our flank." Her crew responded instantly, maneuvering the ship with practiced precision. Each moment was a test of skill and courage, but her team fought valiantly, their determination shining through the chaos. The Phoenix danced among the stars, dodging incoming fire while returning shots with devastating accuracy. Ilara had trained them well, and now they were showing the galaxy what humanity was capable of. As the PID ships began to falter, their formations breaking under the pressure, Ilara's gaze fell upon Emperor Zarnok's flagship looming ahead. It was a massive vessel, dark and foreboding, a symbol of the PID's ruthless ambition. This was it, the moment to end the conflict and bring peace to the galaxy. All ships, focus fire on that flagship. We end this now, she commanded, her voice cutting through the noise of the battlefield. With a synchronized determination, the Allied forces launched their coordinated strikes. Beams of energy and explosive projectiles surged towards Zarnok's flagship, illuminating the void with blinding brilliance. The PID were relentless, firing back with all they had, but the sheer volume of the Alliance's firepower began to wear them down. Ilara could see the damage piling up on the enemy vessel as its shields flickered and sputtered. "Prepare for a daring maneuver," Ilara said, her heart pounding. "We're going to break through their lines and target Zarnok directly." She could feel the adrenaline coursing through her veins, a familiar thrill that came with the stakes at hand. "On your mark, Commander," Lieutenant Marcus Rise replied, his fingers dancing over the controls. Ilara nodded, and with a deep breath, she initiated the maneuver. The Phoenix surged forward, cutting through the chaos like a knife through butter, weaving between enemy fire as they approached Zarnok's flagship. As they drew closer, Ilara could see the PID crew scrambling to react, their desperation palpable. This was their chance. Fire at will, she ordered, and her crew unleashed everything they had in one final, desperate push. Beams of energy rained down on the flagship, each impact a step closer to victory. The flagship shuddered under the assault, and Ilara's heart raced as she watched the damage unfold. Zarnok's flagship was powerful, but it was not invincible. The PID forces were losing their grip, and with each passing moment, the tide of battle turned more in their favor. Suddenly, the battlefield shook violently. An enormous explosion erupted from the flagship's engines, a violent flash that sent debris flying in all directions. Ilara's eyes widened in shock and exhilaration as the blast illuminated the space around them. The PID flagship was coming apart at the seams. "It's going down," Marcus shouted, his voice filled with disbelief and joy. The PID fleet was in disarray, and one by one, their ships began to retreat into the depths of space, fleeing from the onslaught. Ilara felt a surge of triumph wash over her. They had not just defended their home, they had inspired hope across the galaxy. "Chase down the remaining PID ships. We cannot let them regroup," Ilara commanded, her voice steady. The crew sprang into action, following her orders with the same determination that had fueled their fight thus far. The remnants of the PID fleet were now vulnerable, their once imposing presence diminished. As the Phoenix pursued the retreating PID ships, Ilara couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them to this moment. They had faced insurmountable odds, and yet here they were, standing victorious. She glanced around at her crew, their faces illuminated by the glow of the control panels, eyes filled with the fire of determination and hope. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for a future. With the PID fleet in disarray, Ilara received a comm from Admiral Takar, commanding the Zarkonian forces. "Commander Quinn, you have done the impossible. Your leadership has turned the tide. We stand ready to assist in chasing down the remaining PID ships." "Thank you, Admiral," Ilara replied, a wave of gratitude washing over her. "We couldn't have done this without the support of our allies. Let's ensure we finish what we started." The remaining PID ships scrambled to regroup, but they were no match for the United forces pursuing them. One by one, they fell, either destroyed or captured. Ilara felt a deep satisfaction at each victory, each PID ship that was brought to its knees. It was a symbolic gesture, a statement that humanity and its allies would no longer be bullied or oppressed. As the last PID ship fell, a sense of calm washed over the battlefield. The chaos that had reigned moments ago was replaced with an almost surreal silence. Ilara's heart swelled with pride, knowing that they had achieved the impossible. They had turned the tide against an enemy that had sought to crush them. But as the dust settled, Ilara knew this victory was just the beginning. Humanity had proven its strength, but they must remain vigilant. The war was won, but the battle for peace was far from over. The galaxy was vast, and new threats could arise at any moment. Prepare to establish communication with the Galactic Council, Ilara instructed. We need to inform them of our victory and discuss our next steps. We cannot let this moment go to waste. As they sent out the communication, Ilara took a moment to breathe. The weight of leadership was heavy, but it was a burden she bore with pride. With newfound allies by their side, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The universe had been warned. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. As the Phoenix floated among the wreckage of the PID fleet, Ilara looked out at the stars, a sense of hope igniting within her. They had faced their darkest hour and emerged stronger than ever. The bond forged in battle would be the foundation of their future, a future where peace, resilience, and unity would guide them. Together, they would navigate the complexities of the galaxy, proving that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity could shine brightly and inspire others to stand alongside them. The fight for freedom was far from over, but today marked a turning point, a new dawn for all who dared to dream of a brighter future. In the aftermath of the decisive battle, the galaxy began to heal. The remnants of the PID fleet lay scattered, a stark reminder of the conflict that had threatened to engulf them all. As the Phoenix returned to Earth, Commander Ilara Quinn felt a mix of relief and anticipation. They had not only defended their world, but had also forged alliances that would shape the future. The Galactic Council convened shortly after their victory, bringing together representatives from every allied species. The atmosphere buzzed with a renewed sense of purpose, and Ilara stood at the forefront, ready to share their story and plan the next steps. Today, we stand united, Ilara began, her voice steady as she addressed the council. We have proven that together, we are stronger than our enemies. Let us ensure that the sacrifices made are honored by building a future where no one has to face oppression alone. Cheers erupted throughout the chamber, a wave of hope washing over the assembly. Species once divided by distrust now found common ground, united by their shared experiences and newfound friendships. Together, they began drafting a peace treaty, one that would solidify their commitment to cooperation and mutual defense. In the months that followed, the alliance flourished. Trade routes opened, cultural exchanges blossomed, and joint training exercises were established. Ilara often reflected on the unity forged in battle, feeling grateful for the diverse perspectives that enriched their mission. Humanity's resilience inspired other civilizations, fostering a spirit of collaboration that resonated throughout the galaxy. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the people celebrated their heroes. Parades filled the streets, honoring the brave souls who had fought alongside Ilara. She was often approached by families expressing gratitude for their safety and the hope for a better future. It was a humbling experience, reminding her of the weight of responsibility she carried. Ilara knew that the journey ahead would not be without challenges. The galaxy was vast, and there were still factions that sought power through fear and violence. But she also understood that they had created a foundation for a brighter tomorrow. A galaxy united against tyranny would stand firm against those who threatened peace. One day, as Ilara gazed up at the stars from the observation deck of the Phoenix, she felt a sense of purpose and determination swell within her. The darkness they had faced was only one chapter in an ongoing saga of survival and resilience. There were countless worlds to explore, stories to uncover, and bonds to strengthen. "Commander, we have a new message from the Council," Marcus Grays called out, breaking her reverie. "They've requested our presence for a special announcement." Ilara nodded, her heart quickening with curiosity. As they arrived at the council chamber, the representatives greeted them with applause. A display lit up the room, revealing a map of the galaxy with various systems marked for future exploration. "The time has come to expand our reach," the council president announced. "We will form exploration teams to seek out new worlds and civilizations. Together, we will continue to promote peace and understanding throughout the galaxy." Ilara felt a rush of excitement. This was more than just a new mission. It was an opportunity to share humanity's spirit of adventure and curiosity with the stars. She stepped forward, determination shining in her eyes. "Let us be pioneers of peace," she declared. "With every world we visit, we will spread the message that strength lies not in domination but in unity. Together, we can create a galaxy where hope prevails over fear." The room erupted in cheers once more, a chorus of voices united in a shared vision for the future. Ilara knew that they were on the brink of something extraordinary, a journey that would take them to the farthest reaches of the cosmos. As they prepared to set forth on their new adventure, Ilara glanced back at her crew, her family forged in the fires of conflict. They were ready to face the unknown together, hearts filled with hope and courage. The stars awaited them, and this time they would not face the darkness alone. Humanity's legacy would be one of resilience, ingenuity, and unbreakable bonds, lighting the way for future generations to come. With renewed purpose, they launched into the great beyond, ready to embrace the endless possibilities that lay ahead.